All right, I'm just reviewing the agenda items. So the district just held executive session until 8:33. Closed session is now back open to the public.
Sorry, wait, we need to get, Sharon up,
Do you have the,
recorder, no.
right
Yes,
next
oh,
to-
there it is, yeah.
just start the record.
Gotcha.
So I'll restate that for the recording. Executive session ended at 8:33, and now the meeting is back open to public session. I believe we're going to go to item number 2, and I hand it over to Richard.
Okay. We have two motions to ratify before we do anything else. So first off, the board will accept a ratification, a move to ratify the operational decision that was made last Thursday, the 28th, to bring Thompson to the plants for repair. Have a motion? Motion from Newman, second from Roger. All in favor? Aye. All right. Second motion is to have the attorney develop contract negotiations with TOPS to come in and help the contract manager to run our plant. Motion by Roger, second.
Second.
Newman, all in favor? Aye. Passes.
Can I ask for an expansion on that, and whether we can do another additional motion to engage them
Oh.
on the interim until that contract is in place?
Gotcha. Receive another motion to engage TOPS to work interim until the negotiations are completed for the contract for the year. Roy makes a motion, second. Newman, second motion. All in favor? Aye. All right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, now we're going to do two things. One of them is our consultants are going to be excused because they've got prior appointments they've got to go to. And we've held them here, so they've got to run, which is Bill and Mr. Bacon.
Thank you, guys.
What's that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will open the floor for questions. Please be in mind that we have, and is published today, there is a town hall meeting scheduled here Monday, 6 p.m. with only one item on the agenda, and that is to freely discuss the wastewater plants. The board has been collecting information from TCEQ, from Galveston Health Department, from everybody you can think of, from 3 different testing companies. And at that time, we will have everything available where we can display the reports, the rates. We published them on the website today, so there's nothing been held back. We just have to identify what we're doing. And the one statement that we made today, the motion we made is that we have contracted a company called TOPS to come in and run our plant for next year and get it under control. They're the ones that are doing it right now to make it happen right. We're moving forward to get this whole thing under control. So with that, I'll open for discussion, but I will say one thing. No accusations, everything factual. If you want to ask questions about what we're doing, we'll tell you, but we're not going to answer any accusations, and we're not going to give any back. We all live here, we drink the same water, we use the same commodes, so we're all a part of the same team. And from me, this is not from the board, this is from me, the factual information that was sent to us from the residents that we saw, the factual information we saw, has helped move forward the board to do things that we're already in the process of doing. So it was a help to doing it. So the floor is open now for comments, and we will address them as best we can. If we say those will be addressed on Monday. It's not because we're getting away from it, it's because we just don't have the information in front of us as of yet. Okay, who's first? All right?
Good evening. Thank you for having us in here tonight. On the MUD web page on May the 12th, you posted that the water going into the canal is clean and at no time were we in non-compliance with the TCEQ. As of today, do you still stand by that statement? And if so, are you willing to post on the website that there is a problem with the water?
We have agreed to post on the website that we will do a position on the water, that there is, I hesitate to say there's a problem with it because I get involved in legal stuff, but yes, we will put, there's a caution, we will put, there's a caution in the water to use it, and that we do not stand by those statements that we made earlier, because we found out that those are not true.
Let me clarify, when we're saying water, we're talking about the discharge.
Correct.
There's nothing wrong with the potable water, the drinking water,
Correct. The
and there's no
discharge
reason to
water.
believe that there is. I just wanted to make sure that we're,
Right, but that's not what the statement was
No,
referring
no,
to.
no,
It was the statement was about the water going into the canal.
right, we just said water, I wanted to make sure what water we're talking about, but
Well,
at the-
I'm using your words.
right, at the time. when
Beside
that-
the words were water, so.
Right. At that time when that statement was made, we were not aware of any alleged violations at the time. And-
On June,
No, on that statement that was posted on May the 12th. I
on
believe
May
it
the
was.
12th, you had no idea that there was
We
discharge
knew
coming
they
out of
ca-
that pipe?
No, we knew that there was an investigation. We knew TEC came out and took samples.
But do you believe as the board, as the entity that monitors that water getting dumped into our
Wait.
canal system,
We don't monitor that water.
as the board that oversees the regulation of the water that's being discharged out of that pipe, do you believe, did you know that the water coming out of that pipe had a potential of being hazardous or contaminated, and that a statement by you guys saying that it's clean and there's no violations going on is kind of misleading to the public?
At the time when we were asked about that, we asked our operator, and he told us that we were in compliance. We are not, as a board, we are not licensed to go in there and touch anything, adjust anything, or change anything. With what we were told at the time by our operator, who is the licensed operator of the plant, we used that information and went forward and released that statement. Looking back, yes, should we, I guess the best way to put it is, what he told us, what we believed, we didn't have any reason not to believe it at the time, and then when the results came
The
out,
brown water and the clumps coming out of the
We
pipe
knew
didn't
that
give
the-
you any reason to
well,
believe
no.
of anything? I don't.
We knew
But
the-
there were some other instances, things going on. You know what's been going on at the plant.
Yes,
That we've been remodeling, we're trying to get everything together.
Yes,
We've
sir.
had a screen problem, incoming screen problem. We thought everything was due to the screen problem, and then we've got the rental screens in. We thought that fixed the problem, that we had no problem after that. And to our knowledge, we weren't notified of these reports officially, other than what we got off y'all's Facebooks, until Monday, June 1st. That's the first official notification we got.
as soon as we were notified that there actually was a problem from TECQ, we immediately met with TOPS, had them come in to go through the plant and assess the situation. We brought outside company in to come in, and that company will be taking over operations of the plant.
understood. And then, but there was no you can get on the website and say that the water is safe and clean, but you can't get on the website and say, hey, we might have an issue here. You might want to think about letting children and other adults or anybody else get into the water
When it comes to
until
that,
until further testing can be,
when
done.
it comes to that, we don't have the, as a board, we don't have the, I guess I would say, qualifications to actually issue something
Hold on
like
now.
that.
You
That-
can't say you don't have the qualifications to issue that it might be contaminated, but you don't have the qualifications to issue, to put a statement out that says that it's clean also.
What we said at the time was we said that we were in compliance. Now, that's the best of my, I'd have to reread the statement, but we
But you just said you haven't had testing. How do you know you were in compliance?
I asked our operator, and we have to take his word for it, which is one of the reasons why we're changing to an outside company.
I find that's not an acceptable answer in the state of times that we live in. You have to trust but verify. We have to test.
And when this all happened, the TECQ came in and they tested. And with everything going on with the COVID, there's a lot of them working from
But
home.
the
and everything.
testing from the TCEQ came later down the road.
Right. Well, no, they tested on, it was April the 20th, they came in and,
Then you had, there was test results way then prior to that's
We-
clean water statement.
We did not get those test results. And, I mean, what was showing up on the web, when it popped up on the web, that was the first we heard of it. We were not officially notified of that.
If they took test samples in April, you should have
I
had a
understand.
result within 2
Yeah,
weeks.
we should have, but we didn't.
We can
Well, why
provide.
didn't you ask for them?
We-
You didn't even know they were testing?
We knew they were testing. They came out and said they were launching an investigation. We had them come in, test, and there was just, they didn't get back to us. We were talking earlier about that, and that's abnormal for them to have that much of a delay, but because of the COVID, so many people working from home, they just didn't get it back to us. And we didn't know that there was alleged violations issued until some of the citizens got the report from TCEQ before we did and posted it on the web. And as soon as we saw that, we immediately employed an outside company to come in. But when we had the issues, the plant was under construction, and we asked our operator, is everything in compliance? He told us yes. He told several residents the same thing. And we had to take his word. He's been with us since the late 90s. So we had no reason to suspect that there was a problem. I mean, outside of being out of compliance, we knew the plant was not happy, but we didn't know it was out of compliance. And as soon as we were notified of that, we immediately brought in an outside company to make sure it would be brought into compliance.
Very good. I'll let someone else speak.
Just a really quick question. So is our plant operator still employed by us, by the MUD?
Did I understand the question?
Is the plant operator still employed?
That's a personal question, and we can answer, we can't discuss that.
The responsibility of the plant is being turned over to TOPS.
One of the residents had an independent test done, and she left, but she asked me if I would present this to you guys, if y'all could pass it out amongst yourselves. I think so.
What do you do?
I have some questions I'd like to ask. Mr. Minotti, you in the last MUD meeting stated that you spend nearly every day with Randy down at the plant. Were you present at the plant with Randy when TCEQ came in April? Okay. Friday, before Memorial Day, you posted on Facebook that TCEQ came out and that everything was all right. Do you have a written statement from TCEQ to back up
Yes.
that statement?
TCU came out, the complaints from the MUD 12. The last complaints on 11/4/2016, the complaint, there was electronic record. Came out, no violation was reported. On 5/7/2018, a claimant was, a claim
I'm referring,
just like was put, it came out, no alleged violation. On 1/3/20, a claim that came out, there was a discharge of fecal matter that they came out and investigated. It was not, it was just a water pipe, water hose that had busted and it sprayed in the air. No claim was vested. They came out on 4/20, did a complaint investigation. They found 3 alleged violations. That's when we got the information to start the investigation. So we've had 3 complaints from TCEQ, or 3 violation inspections from TCEQ from between January of 2020 and November of 2016.
I'm referring, though, to a post put on a public site by a member of this board saying that TCEQ was out today. This is the Friday before Memorial Day, and they have said everything's okay. Do you have the results of that test?
The results.
The Friday before Memorial Day
The
from
results of Memorial
TCEQ?
Day tests were delivered yesterday
And-
to the MUD.
And what are the results of that test?
What's that?
What were the results?
Those results were the reason, well, those results were as you saw in the, well, first off,
Basically, what I'm getting at is what nerve do you have to say to the people the water's safe when you don't know it is? You also went on Facebook.
wait. No accusing.
I'm not accusing.
No.
It's not an accusation. It's in writing.
Facts.
I'm stating
The
facts.
Facts are, and I'm not being contentious. Facts are, at the last board meeting, none of the board was informed or knew of any violation or any inspection that the TCEQ had done.
Had you seen the
Since-
report posted on Facebook?
since that
Had any
time-
member of the
Wait a
board
minute.
seen the post on Facebook?
Wait a minute.
At the
Wait a
time of the
minute.
previous meeting? I'm
No.
not gonna wait a minute anymore.
No,
No. Okay. It's, even though you didn't see it, it was posted with their report number on it and with their header on it. It's official whether you got it or not.
no.
It's still
No,
official.
whoop.
Okay,
It
but
is
you
not.
keep interrupting me,
No,
and
no,
I'm
no,
going
no,
for
no.
something.
I spent,
This-
wait a minute, I spent 2 hours with TCQ today. It's not official until we get the report and we get to evaluate it. And our district engineer today said he got the report, and there's some areas different than the one that's based on your Facebook page.
Two different reports.
Same complaint. He.
Same
once-
complaint,
once-
two different reports.
Once he receives the formal report, then he gets to direct corrective action. Under state law, he can't just go change something because he gets a two-page report. He got an alleged violation, so now he's aware of it. He's got to check into it. When he gets when he gets the final report, he does his work. That's
Okay, well, you use the term alleged, and when TCEQ does it, they don't use the term alleged. They say you are in violation. Okay. I'm getting at a point here, and I would like to make my point. It is wrong of anybody here to say the water's safe when you don't know that it is, but you do know the previous test showed it wasn't, okay? The Friday before Memorial Day, y'all knew of the report. Official or not, you knew of it. And for one of your members to go on Facebook and make this statement is ridiculous. For that same person to go on Facebook and attack people is
Okay,
ridiculous, and
okay.
you have no business on your
Okay,
board.
Okay. Next person.
That's the result. What's the limit?
For them, I think it's like 10.
No, again, there's nothing hidden.
10, yeah.
When the TCU came out on, and I've got the report, they came out on 4/20, and they came out on 5/22. When the TCU came out on 5/22, they made a exit interview with the plant manager, with the operator. Here's what the exit interview said. Rand, you'll be getting a full report very soon that says what actions need to be taken, that we need, and you need to start actions working now. He has done that, but there's no reporting back to TCQ that he can do until he gets the final report from TCQ. Okay.
All board members and Mr. Bacon, who's left. Shame on you for digging your feet in the sand and not believing video after video and pictures from citizens telling you there is a problem. At the last monthly meeting, Mr. Matthews, Mr. Minotti, Mr. Bacon, and the engineer assured us there was absolutely 0% chance that fecal was exiting the pipe on Pompano. The engineer even slightly chuckled when explaining as if we just don't get it. Well, I think you didn't get it. Shame on you for your total lack of communication to the citizens who live in the communities that fall under Med 12. Last meeting, citizens begged for information. We asked for a better way for you to communicate with us. As it stands today, in order to find out any information, a citizen has to check in on the MUD site. That is sorely outdated. To get any news, all of you hide from the citizens with us not having any phone numbers or emails for you. You have one email for citizens and you don't respond to it. You leave Sharon in the office answering all of our calls while you don't respond. I have apologized to her on countless occasions for having to call her and ask questions. Sadly, she is our only point of contact. Shame on you, Mr. Minotti, for trying to make us feel badly at the last meeting because you thought we were insinuating that Randy might not be doing the best job. You, in an angry and condescending tone, let each of us know that he is 70 and works 24/7, and while we go to our little homes at night, Randy works from home. If memory serves me, you stated you were at the plant with Randy frequently. You also let us know that the issue might be overuse because of so many people being home from COVID, flushing wipes and grease in the drain. You lectured us on overuse when you rent out the bottom of your home on Airbnb, which is against current city ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, I'll skip over that.
No, that's, just a second.
Personally,
No, wait. You just brought in a BioVista
okay, I'll skip over
So
that.
that's not ours. So-
Okay, I'm
so
moving
to
forward.
accuse us of something that the city of BioVista doing is totally illegal.
But your board member shouldn't lecture me on overuse when he's letting extra people
So
stay in his house.
We are not
I'm not lecturing you. I'm
involved as to-
commenting on that, but I'll move forward. Personally, I consider David Macaluso and Bill Spinney our personal heroes for getting to the bottom of this for the citizens and for not giving up on us. Yet on Facebook, Mr. Minotti, you asked David Macaluso, isn't he from Stinkadena? What was that supposed to mean? I tell you how I took it. David, you grew up in Pasadena and you're worried
Okay,
about
okay,
poop in the
okay,
canal.
Okay, no accusations.
These are
We've already,
facts.
fine. We're not gonna sit here and
Okay.
throw one other, you're
In
bad,
my
I'm bad.
opinion,
Okay,
Mr.
so-
Minotti-
So, fact, just, we're not gonna sit here and complain about his post, my post, your post. That's not, let's talk about the board, let's talk about the things we're doing. If you don't like that, there's a whole different issue, we can have that discussion.
In my opinion, you are rude, arrogant, and untrustworthy, and for this reason, I'm asking you to resign from the board. Shame on you, Mr. Matthews, for letting all of us down. You dug in against all evidence. You were not honest about seeing the videos because you told us in the last meeting you saw the videos, and yet you told the Galveston Daily News you had not seen the videos. You pushed against all of us at the last meeting, and quite honestly, I've never seen someone whose communication to the people they serve is as bad as yours. You don't respond to emails, you don't provide your phone number, and you leave the ladies in the mud office to handle the dirty work. You defended your process and the operators with little regard to the videos and the photos provided to you by citizens. It took citizens filing complaints with the EPA, TCEQ, and calling our county commissioners, the newspaper, the media, and the list goes on to get help. You have yet to warn citizens that may...
Okay. I'm stopping you. We see where you're going. We're all assholes. Fine. Next person. I mean, there's no, we're talking about testing with stuff, and all you're saying is bad.
The language isn't appropriate.
What's that?
Your language isn't appropriate for this case. It's not appropriate.
Would you like,
You can be better than that. You can be professional. Don't take it like that.
I'm just trying to protect us. We all are here.
You don't have to cuss. We're
I
all
didn't
adults.
say
Don't
cuss. Yes, sir.
express yourself.
All right, understanding the issues and the concerns that were raised, obviously, operations were not clearly open with what was going on. I do have a concern that you're able to, I can see where having someone come in temporarily is a good idea, but interviewing, another good idea. Making a decision within a week on only one short-time interview and making that decision in the same night is not a good thing. I think it needs to be thought through a lot more. Realistically, look at the proposals that were provided by the three. Did you have three companies coming tonight? Two. Just two. A third should be considered. Looking at that. Recommendations on tops, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm aware of them. I saw USW here, but there are others. I'm not sure how many operating companies perform duties out this way. But there should be a deeper consideration and a little bit more time given on the thought process before bringing in an operating company temporarily. Absolutely. Considering up a year's time, I heard a year. Is it considered just for a year right now?
We have it's a 30-day contract. At any point in time within 30 days.
But you can get out within 30 days.
Yes, sir.
Right, that's the
And-
typical contract.
Right.
Okay. But again, I'd encourage the board to give it more time to review and interview. It needs to be done properly. You're on the right track. A detailed inspection of the plant. That was a recommendation or a thought. Have you all discussed that as well?
It's already been done.
The operator's gonna do that
He's already done it. He-
along with the engineer?
The operator on the 28th of May, Mr. Eric Muller and myself got in a conference call with the engineer and our attorney, and we agreed to hire tops that day, and they were out that day to do an operational assessment of the plant.
Right. Both water and sewer?
Yes.
The-
The whole,
Yes.
Yes,
everything?
they will be.
Yeah, that's what needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Again, not knowing and finding out there's more problem, obvious, but more consideration needs to be given.
Absolutely. Right now, our main priority was getting in a
No, I
qualified
don't
operator.
disagree. I
and
don't
we
disagree
will
with that
be-
thought.
Yeah, we will definitely be evaluating them, and with a 30-day option, as time progresses, we will look at all the other options with different companies. But right now, our biggest priority was getting in somebody that can take care of it turn it around and, yeah, be responsible
And a
citizens.
temporary fix, and that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, temporary to try to get operations where they need to be on the thought. With the engineer, again, the engineer's been here how long? 3 months, 6 months?
2, 3 months.
2 or 3 months? So, and that's Sander Engineering, I'm aware of them too. All right, but it needs to be looked at completely. A real fine detailed inspection. You said that was done already?
No, they did a preliminary inspection on it, found a few issues that they want to be changed, and then as they go from there to stabilize the plant, then they're actually going to go through and piece by piece with everything and give us a punch list of what all the recommendations they have for us as they go through to getting the plant operational to spec again.
Under initial inspection, some of the things they found, was that causing some of the problem with the discharge?
Yes,
Okay. And further recommendations on how to repair and fix that on a permanent basis?
All that'll be forthcoming, yes.
Okay. So defining again all the consultants for the MUD. The attorney, potentially a new operator,
The attorney, the district engineer, and the CPA.
who's the CPA?
Lydia, who you was here last week, at the
Right.
Monday, at the
That company, what is it?
Wilson, up Burton Street. You see them on 45 as you go, Wilson, Winston.
And just coming again from a previous MUD, understanding consultants and not taking away anything, I don't know you, Sharon, for the MUD itself, with the conditions and things that are going on, you might consider looking at a tax assessor collector to try to start getting that associated with potentially recommendations on the possibility of where taxes and where the rate needs to be this year. Understanding an inspection that's potentially going to cost the MUD some repair work. So that needs to be considered in assessing the values with a real substantial look at what needs to be done. Because just from my second visit, there's a lot of work that needs to be taken care of. And curious to know what's going to be found in the plant, what may be getting done in the water. We currently have surface water stated, right? We're on surface water for the majority?
Currently, surface water is bought from the Gulf Coast Water
Right.
Association.
Right.
They
So-
all we do is pass through.
I get it. Do we have a chloramine system
No,
for the, we do
pass
not have
through.
chloramines, only chlorine?
We pass through.
Do we have a chlorine system or a chloramine?
If it's needed, we work with
Do
the
you know
Gulf
if that's,
Coast,
which one we do have for the water?
with the Gulf Coast to use it.
Well, the Gulf Coast provides the water, but the plant is responsible for disinfecting the water,
I
making
believe
sure
it
it's
is a
potable.
chloramine system because I know we do have the well
It should
water.
be chloramine for surface water, chlorine's
Right.
for the well water.
Right.
So I'm just trying to make sure that we have that, because that's again another reason to look at the surface and the
Right.
water plant itself.
And they are going to look at that because I know several years ago, there was an issue with that, with people talking about the foul smell and the water heaters
Right.
and whatnot. And it ended up being, it was a blending issue, which was rectified. And we've spoken with Tops about that, and they're very aware of that. And they know that's something that they need to look at and get a formal policy with us for that.
Okay. And just real quick, I understand, what is the capacity of the plant once again? Because I understood it to be 500,000 gallons a day, sewage plant?
The original, my understanding,
Mhm.
and I've only been here 3 years, so I wasn't here in 72. My understanding, it was rated at around 450,000 gallons. We've had up to 550,000 gallons run through the plant.
And
at a
see,
time.
on the last meeting, I understood we're only going at half capacity. I recall, we're only utilizing about 220,000 gallons a day. So we're exceeding the capacity of the plant already.
No.
Based on
it's-
that.
No, I'd have to go back and look, but I know we are well within, because when the engineers came in to look at, working on, when we did the bond, the question was asked as far as expanding more for the possible growth
Right.
of, and TECQ looked at our current numbers, and they said that where the plant was, that we were well within our limits,
Right.
so
So
I
if
know
we're,
we're
if
not.
we're at a 500,000 capacity and we're at 450, then
No, I think
something's
it's,
not,
I'd have to look.
not
back.
adding up in
It's
the
more
last.
than that. It's more than that, but I'll have to get the numbers,
Okay.
but I know it is more than that
Yeah,
we're
so
rated
a
for.
lot of things to look at.
We are regulated by the TCQ, and the TCQ has approved the plant for our work, so there's no,
Depending on what's been, the information provided to this TECQ.
we are not.
Again,
We are well within the capacity of the operating within the MUD 12,
based on what was provided.
based on,
To your knowledge.
based
But
on,
not necessarily in finding out here recently, some of that may not be correct. It all needs to be looked at.
And that's something we're committed to. With the outside company we brought in, we're going to go through everything top to bottom, whether it be valves on the streets, fire hydrants, everything. They're going to
Complete
do,
detailed inspection
absolutely.
throughout. All right, thank you.
Hello. Mr. Matthews, I'm bothered by the fact that you said your understanding is that it's this amount. I believe as the president of the Mud Board, you
Understanding
should.
of what?
Your understanding that it's 450,000 gallons. I think that as a president, you should probably know what our capacity
That's
is.
I have to go back to the TCEQ contract, and because it's all based on
Okay, but as a president, I believe that you should know that.
I'll get it straight for you.
And my
But the
second
saying-
note is that,
Yes, I'll get it for you.
got that. My second note is that I believe that Roy Minotti should resign. I believe he is completely unsuited for this position based
Okay.
on his behavior.
This is not,
Hang
this
on,
is.
no, this may not be the thing.
No, no,
that-
no, no. Whoa,
Okay, I
whoa,
will
whoa,
continue.
whoa. My lawyer is not here. We will not discuss that.
Okay, just putting my 2 cents in worth. Also, we have a robocall system that we each pay for on our mud bill that you use to call us for a variety of reasons. Barbie called TCEQ and asked if you needed to wait for a directive from them or warn systems and the answer was no. They aren't even open on weekends, and he said cities and muds have the right to warn citizens, and we're still waiting on our robocall. We're still waiting to hear what's going on. We all pay dearly to live here on the waterfront and enjoy the amenities that goes along with it, such as swimming, crabbing, etc., etc. I know my grandson was here and we couldn't do it. Please don't interrupt. The Mud 12 has removed that amenity from our families and everyone else in Bayou Vista. I know that my family will not be enjoying the water in the canals. My grandson was here this weekend and I could not allow him to go into the canals. And we don't know how long that's going to continue. Mainly because this board did not respond quickly to all the citizens. I mean, we've been sharing pictures, videos, news articles with the Galveston Central Appraisal District to have our home values decreased for tax purposes. That affects the board's budget and the city's budget. When our home values are decreased and taxes are brought in, will be less. Barbie is the realtor and she doesn't even know when she can tell potential buyers when they can swim in the water. They always ask, do people swim in the canals? What does she say now? Is this going to affect the price of our homes, as someone says? She's been working with a buyer for 6 months, and they texted her after they saw the article in the paper and said the problem in the newspaper. She said, the buyer said, well, we're just going to see what happens because the home values might drop. Is she right? Why was the media involved at all? Why are we embarrassed as citizens? The answer to all of this is because you didn't investigate when we asked you to investigate. For 6 weeks, we were putting pictures on. For 6 weeks, we were calling. You never showed an urgency in the matter, nor do I feel like you really cared. This is blown up because you allowed it to by not investigating. You're the big dog, you're the big cheese, and, well, actually, we're asking for your resignation as well. Other board members, I feel like we're caught up in this, but a lesson learned from this, listen to citizens and investigate evidence put right in front of your eyes. Please do a much better job with communication. I talked to you and I talked to you. And I appreciate both of you guys listening to me the day that the person was out there. But what I spoke to you about mostly was communicating with your community that you're responsible for. You have a thankless job, we know that. And I hope other board members besides Mr. Minotti and Mr. Matthews will stay on the board to continue to straighten up this mess and move forward. Sharon, again, Barbie's apologized for being the only point of contact for citizens. And I'm sure you took the heat from citizens more than the board. And we thank you for that.
Okay, it's 9:10.
Well, then I have
Now,
one more question.
wait,
I have one
just a
more
second.
question then.
We all are regular people that have to do things tomorrow. So we're going to end this at 9:20. So,
I have one more quick question.
quick,
Was the city ever notified of the problems?
not to my knowledge, I don't know.
No casual conversations, nothing like that? The city was never notified that there were problems with the canals?
The canals, we'll
It was
answer,
an
we will
effluent.
answer those questions on Monday. Because the Gulf Coast Health Department will be here. They are the ones that do that formal notice. Now, they're coming. Hi,
Hi,
new mayor.
yes. I think I can get to the question that you were asking about the chloramine system. What we get from Gulf Coast is chloramine, except for a once-a-year burnout. And that's what, where they do chlorine, if memory serves. Which they have not done. It was, I believe y'all told us that Gulf Coast did not, because of COVID, do the burnout this year. It's usually in
Right.
the spring. And so, people's toilets are failing. And that's gonna be y'all's fault if y'all don't say something. Or, let people know that they need to take a look at their flappers, because they're gonna be slimy. That's what I've found. I sometimes employ a handyman to help me around the house. He says he's done about 6 toilets all of a sudden and found the flappers to be slimy. And I think one lay person's opinion, that might be because we haven't had a burnout in 15 months or whatever it is.
I'll
That's
talk
all.
to him about that. I'll talk to him about that. Concerning the notices on the telephone, I got one today. So if your phone is not working and your hookup's not working. Anyone else?
To answer, I'm sorry, I was gonna say, to answer your question, the plant, the average daily flow is not to exceed 400,000 gallons per day. And I know that times I've been up there and looked at the meter that was displaying, we were running around 200 to 250,000 gallons. So we're right now average half capacity. The numbers that we were provided in the past, we're unsure of, as far as unsure of a lot of things with the plant. And that's part of when we have the new company going through there, they're going to be recalibrating all of our flow equipment and checking everything to make sure that.
Ensuring all meters are reading
Right.
properly everything.
Absolutely.
And I would still again ask on the chloramine system. I'm not aware that the regional water authority does that, purifies it prior to providing it. As far at my mud previously, we had the system at the mud for cleaning the water. So you can check that.
Anyone, one more question?
Hello, I'm Tom Thomas, resident here on Pompano. One quick question. Now that you're going to be bringing in this new contractor to run the plant, as a managing board, what yardsticks will you use to evaluate his performance on a regular basis? How will you know if he's doing what he's supposed to be doing for yourself?
We will have a contract with them written up by the attorney. And at the same time, we also have the same reports that had to be submitted to TCEQ and the same tests that are done by an outside testing company that certifies the test. We will make sure those tests are done and monitor those tests on a regular basis.
So is
That's the way we determine.
is that different than what we've been doing so far?
What's that?
Is that different than what's been going on so far?
Yes.
Or it is.
When it's different from the board, right? Yes.
The outside company, we spoke with them earlier, they've also have wonderful amounts of data that they can give us, everything that will be done, whether it be changing out a meter, adjusting anything, any parts have to be replaced, they will be giving us large amounts of data each month on that and reports and stuff, and we will share all that with the public so they can see exactly what's happening, what's being changed, what's being fixed, what's being updated, and we'll be going behind them and making sure that what they're doing is what they're supposed to be doing. Especially after what recently happened, we're going to be very proactive with them to ensure that we don't end up in a situation like we are right now.
Thanks, that's what we wanted to hear.
This is a quick question for clarification. We have 58 people on Facebook Live, and they're all reporting that they didn't get a notification by phone today. And so maybe you could explain what notification went out on the robocall, because I didn't get one, and a lot of people are saying they did not get it either. So it's an opportunity to communicate with your
Okay,
members.
Good question.
Richard
Good
Sharon's.
Sharon?
It was from Gulf Coast Water, it wasn't from us. So if y'all couldn't hear, this notice only came out from Gulf Coast Water, and it was not a robocall to MUD members.
Okay. Okay, there is now, on the robocalls we do, Sharon, if they did not get it, they just need to confirm their telephone call number with you.
Right, but they wouldn't have gotten one from us today. Today was Gulf Coast Water, that's all.
Gotcha, okay, all right.
And was that something that MUD 12 participants should have received? Okay, so,
It's for the operators, letting them know what's going on at
Okay.
Gulf Coast Water for effect out of town.
just trying to help clear up some confusion that just was created.
I received a robocall saying that the Gulf Coast Water Supply is gonna be doing some work on one of their things, so that's what I mentioned. There's robocalls are actively used in today's, if you're not getting the robocalls, that means your telephone number is not hooked up with the MUD, so contact Sharon to get your phone number hooked up, because that system is what everybody uses.
Do y'all have control over the robocalls? In other words, can your robocall say whatever you want it to say, or are there only 5 or 6 statements that you can pick?
No,
You can say whatever you want it to say.
All right, all right, I appreciate the call. Monday, 6 o'clock, and we'll have more information. We hope Gulf Coast will be here, TCQ will be here. You can ask all the questions. And what's that?
Can you put a robocall out about that?
We will see if we can. We've put notification on the website. I mean, how many different ways can we communicate? I mean,
The robocall seems to work really well. I get it on my email and I get it on my phone. But you have to know to look at the website, you
Yep,
have to know to look at anything else.
okay. Then,
And consideration for one central source of communication would be something to look at as well. So you're not trying to bounce 3 different things, but give notification of where it's gonna be provided, so all the residents know this is where it's coming from.
that's great. We've had people saying that they don't get the robocalls, they want to go to another one. So we have to go to 4 or 5 different ways to get to everybody. So it's just, we do it on the website.
But you get both. If you get a robocall, you get an email.
Yeah, I get both every time.
I don't know whether we have everybody's, that's something we'll look at later time, because